Alright, this is my Benchmade 710 McHenry Williams. Now this isn't a true review. This is just my opinions and things I've noticed. Now this knife is in D2, and I've had this knife probably since 2006, I'd say. So I've had it a while. This was my everyday carry for probably 3 years. I mean, I carried it every day. So I've got a lot of experience with this knife. I like the knife overall, but like I say, here's my overall impressions and opinion with like I say, something I've carried for about 3 years. Just so you know, I mean, there's all kinds of videos on this knife. You know, you want more in-depth videos, you know, get on YouTube and just look them up. But the knife's got a 3.9 inch blade. It's 8.8 inches overall, and it's 4.5 ounces. Comes with the Benchmade axis lock, and honestly, that's my favorite feature on the knife. I love the axis lock. I mean, it locks up tight. Blade doesn't have play in it. I probably have adjusted the pivot on here before, but you can see I don't have a lot of tension on the pivot. I've never had problems with this knife coming up in my pocket. It is a tip-up carry, and I actually like tip-up carries. Some people don't because they have issues, or you know, knives coming up in their pocket. I've not had that problem with this knife. Again, right-handed tip-up carry. The blade tends to be back in the corner of my pocket, so that keeps, you know, pressure on the blade and helps keeps the blade from coming open. As you look at the knife, you can see it's got a slight recurve to it, and that's the first thing about the knife that I really don't like. I don't like recurved blades. Some people think that the recurve catches material and cuts better, and it may, but in general use, I don't like the recurve. I don't think it is as user-friendly, in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. It's harder to sharpen a recurve blade. I didn't say you couldn't sharpen it, but I'm just saying it's harder to sharpen. It's not as, again, convenient as easy. I mean, when field sharpening or whatever, to my opinion, a straight edge without a recurve primary edge is a better choice. When it's in today's world, it's hard to find a lot of production knives, in my opinion, that don't tend to have this recurve in there. I know it's a big trendy thing right now. People like recurve. You know, it looks nice. But again, when I look for knives, I look for knives without recurve. Top of my mind, a good knife, in my opinion, that's out there without recurve is the Blade Tech Professional Hunter. It doesn't have that recurve in there, and I really like that. So, don't like the recurve. This is D2. A lot of people don't like D2 because they say it's difficult to sharpen. This knife is, you know, yeah, it's a little harder to sharpen. You gotta pay a little more attention to detail, but I've never had problems sharpening a knife. Just about find a piece of paper real quick. Piece of paper is all wrinkled up, but anyway. Oops. It could be touched up a little bit. Alright. Saying that it could be touched up, that goes to my next issue with this knife. Again, I love the knife overall, but the two issues I have with it are with the blade. I don't like the recurve, and personally, I don't like the D2. The reason I don't like the D2, now I don't know if you can tell with this knife, but it's actually got a convex grind on it. but I put a convex edge on it, took off the traditional V grind. But with this D2, what I found, and I personally don't like, whether I'm carrying it or whether I've got it put up for storage, something about the blade material, I don't know if it oxidizes or what, but when you carry the knife or put the knife up, you can sharpen it today. And in my personal experience, the knife tends not to hold the edge. And when I say that, I guess it's kind of oxidizing over the edge. I don't know. Again, with all the other knives I've had, this is the one I've had the problem with, this D2. And I'm just having to say, because you can see some oxidation on the knife itself, and I keep this knife clean. I don't know if you can see here around the thumb studs the oxidation, but the knife oxidizes quick, and it does that on the actual edge. So you can sharpen a knife and the knife seems to dull, and you can strop it right back, and you know, it's not a wire edge, okay, but you know that up front. You know, it's deburred. There's no burrs on it. There's no wire edges. I'm confident enough of my knife sharpening abilities that that's not the problem. You know, like I say, it is thoroughly deburred and sharpened, and I can sharpen it where it will, curve cut paper. Now this knife was sharpened back in August, and when I sharpen it, it would curve cut paper. You just have to take my word for it. If you don't want to take my word, then that's fine. I sharpen it, it would curve cut paper, and I put it up in a storage box, a plastic toolbox. Alright, so there was no moisture on it or anything. And yes, I know I'm using wrinkled paper, and it cuts the paper, but it's not cutting as clean as it cut when I put the knife in the box. Alright, it just doesn't. Again, you can take my word for it or not. That's, like I said, again, this is my opinion. This is my knife. I carried the knife for at least 3 years every day. I like the knife. Knife design. Again, I don't like the recurve. Benchmade needs to get rid of the recurve. But this knife would be perfect without the recurve and in a different blade material. I'm not really sure what the blade material they're still using. I'm looking at the Benchmade site now. They're still using D2 tool steel. Maybe the new batches are better. I don't know. But anyway, the knife handle. Love the knife handle. Great design. Fits in my hand no matter how I want to hold the knife. I mean, I can even chest lever grip this knife. So I can do some basic bushcraft skills using this knife with the handle. Robust handle. You can see the steel liners. Now they are skeletonized, so it's lighter, which is still a beefy knife for what it is, but it's got plenty of reach. It's got a nice slim blade. I think it would be better if it was ground all the way up. It's kind of got that tactical look with that swedge on top, and I know that kind of reduces some weight and makes it penetrate better, but I don't think it's really necessary. Then again, I'm not complaining about that. Don't like the recurve, and I don't like the D2, but the knife itself, it's a great knife. I know they've made other versions out of different tools, out of different steel. I would highly recommend picking one up if you don't have one. If you like the D2, get the D2. I would recommend with the D2 that every week or every other day, even if you're not using it, to strop it, to bring it back. You can strop it on your pants. You can strop it on the back of a piece of cardboard, just strop it, and that seems to help break off that oxidation, if it is oxidation. That's just what I'm calling it. But just putting it up and pulling it out and thinking it's going to cut like you put it up, don't expect that. I could go grab my strop, and I could strop it a few times right now, and I could have it back to curve cutting paper. Fully confident in that I could do it. But again, great knife. I like Benchmade knives. I really like the Axis lock for a folder. I don't think there's much better locking mechanism. I've got liner locks. In general, I don't like liner locks. I've got frame locks. Got back locks, mid locks, but really, probably my favorite locking mechanism is the Axis lock. So again, great knife. Only two flaws: the recurve, in my opinion; the D2, in my opinion. Thank you. Stay safe.